Amidst the chaos, Ree loses her mother to the Saken mafia leader. To survive alone, she takes an experimental pill and becomes a powerful mutant known as a subject. But the side effects are slowly killing her. 5 years after the fires disappeared, buildings stood frozen in the freezing air, with only the sound of the wind marking a world devoid of the warmth of fire. Inside the large, cold building, survivors set up tents and bustle about. The bustling atmosphere and chatter suggest a makeshift life that continues amidst difficult conditions. A mother holds her sick, shivering child in a refugee camp. Amidst the cold weather and difficult conditions, the child coughs and complains of feeling cold, adding to the distress of the survivors. The child coughed so hard that he coughed up blood and grew weaker. His mother hugged him in panic and sadness, calling his name Ray. There were no more medicines or supplies since the fire disappeared. They were at a loss for how to help the sick child, and even water was hard to come by. A severe drought has occurred due to the lack of rain. Clean water sources are scarce and controlled by the mafia, making it difficult for residents to obtain drinking water. A child desperately wants to be caught by the mafia, but the adults reprimand him harshly, explaining that getting caught means being forced to take high-risk drugs or live as a slave. They were reminded to be grateful that they were still hiding and hadn't been caught. However, the calm was shattered when a loud banging sound was heard, signaling approaching danger. People panicked as their hiding places were raided. Amid the tension, an armed man emerged, claiming to be from the militia, carrying medicine and supplies. The militia slipped a water bottle inside as a gesture of goodwill, then peered inside cautiously with their weapons at the ready. A large figure arrived alone, carrying a large amount of supplies. They were hesitant and began to discuss whether to trust him or remain wary. The refugees realized the man was either alone or a mafia and felt superior in numbers. Desperate for medicine, they began to attack him for supplies. The iron door finally opened. A mysterious figure stepped in carrying supplies, while those inside prepared for a possible clash. The figure calmed everyone down, claiming to be a militia member tasked with escorting them to safety, while showing off the supplies he was carrying. The man doubted the promise of a safe place and questioned how his opponent could protect everyone on the way there. The man exudes confidence and strength. He has analyzed the surrounding terrain and asserted himself as a subject ready to act and protect others. Unleashing his full power, emitting an overwhelming oppressive aura, causing those around him to be shocked and frightened by his presence. The young man realized who the man was. Subject was someone who risked his life to protect ordinary people, and he immediately remembered the professor who created the subjects. He revealed that he was sent to the place to save people, then immediately moved to help when he saw a victim in need of help. The mother panicked and hugged her sick child, while the man quickly gave instructions and handed over medicine and water to immediately save him. Grateful with emotion upon receiving help, but before the situation could completely calm down, something moved quickly, signaling a new danger approaching. The sudden attack hit the man hard just as he was protecting the civilians, marking the beginning of an unexpected and dangerous clash. Held back by a long-range attack, then shouting for everyone to run immediately as the danger gets out of control. The attack hit hard, creating an explosion and a powerful gust of wind that blew the door away. The man stood against the raging vortex of black attacks, screaming under the immense pressure as his body was battered by the dark force that overcame him. The man was thrown hard to the ground by the powerful attack, while the mother nearby screamed in fear, realizing the situation had turned very dangerous. A monster-like human figure appears with a belittling attitude, calling humans guinea pigs, and marking the beginning of a much more terrible threat. A guard tries to attack, but fails and ends up in defeat. The panicked residents tried to stand up against the situation even though their bodies were trembling with fear, encouraging each other not to give up in the face of the approaching terrible threat. A man tries to rouse the crowd by calling for a joint attack, but the situation becomes increasingly chaotic as buildings collapse and danger looms. Debris fell from above, leaving the residents stunned, until a giant monster landed hard, confirming the real threat before them. A massive explosion reveals a terrifying reality. Multiple giant monsters have appeared at once, making the invading humans realize they have encountered a threat far greater than they anticipated. Civilians were shocked and terrified, staring open-mouthed while holding their makeshift weapons, realizing that great danger had truly descended upon them. Residents fell and panicked amidst the chaos, while elsewhere a mother held her child with a terrified face, trying to protect them from the approaching threat. The brutal attack hit the wall hard, making the mother turn her head in fear, while a voice filled with anger expressed determination to kill whatever was hiding. The creature raged with an explosive red aura, its power unleashing a massive wave of destruction that marked the beginning of true terror. She continues to protect her child no matter what, even though she herself is afraid of it. A terrified man surrenders and begs for mercy, shouting that he will come out of hiding to save his life. While laughing casually, apologizing in a mocking tone and admitting to enjoying the urge to kill whoever was hiding. The victims came out of hiding in panic, while a mother was shaking. A large crowd of humans is surrounded by giants and brutal fighters. The atmosphere of tension peaks when news comes that a terrifying figure named Saken will soon appear. The giant muscular men simultaneously slammed their fists forward, creating a terrifying pressure that made the crowd of humans in front of them silent and threatened by the absolute power. A man in military uniform stepped forward from the ruins, standing quietly amidst the mist and light, named Saken. One of the monsters fell down, intending to use the villagers as an experiment to test their strength before proceeding to the upper zone. Threatens the crowd. They will surely die, unless they are willing to take the drug and become experimental subjects. Lifting the cure while promising world power, offering lives as experimental subjects for the sake of grand ambitions. The villagers were terrified and refused the offer, realizing the drug was tantamount to suicide, while the military men began to lose patience and prepare to take action. There was a huge commotion. The atmosphere was chaotic and full of panic. Those who refused were killed. The mother is panicked and weak, while an injured child whimpers for his mother, indicating the situation is becoming increasingly desperate. The mother was forced to take the pill. From the residents' perspective, the aura of intimidation Saken was very tense, making everyone tremble with fear. A sudden, brutal attack ensued. One victim was struck so hard that he fell and was shocked, indicating the situation had escalated into an unexpected violent state. A child fell down crying hysterically, calling out for his mother in fear and pain, killing many people until only rubble and bodies were left. The experiment failed again. The subjects turned into monsters with side effects of red streaks and ash-like skin. None of the subjects were able to withstand the effects of the drug. Saken disappointed, all the subjects failed and died. Even though the drug experiment failed, they still rushed to the upper zone to seize territory as quickly as possible. A group of hunters comb the area. One of the subordinates insists to his leader, Saken, that no one caught should be left alive, signaling a ruthless intent and an increasingly dangerous situation. Meanwhile, a child hides in an injured state, trying to keep himself from being discovered. Realizing something was amiss, he turned his head cautiously and began to walk closer to the hallway, signaling that he was close to finding his hiding place. But is suddenly shocked when someone challenges Saken openly, forcing the situation to change from a stealthy hunt to a direct confrontation. Saken turned around in surprise when he heard the challenge. It turned out to be the injured mother coughing and insulting the hunters, asserting her resistance despite her weak condition. Shouting, "You crazy!" This scene marks a violent clash, demonstrating the extreme cruelty and tension of a life-or-death battle. He calmly approached the victim as he lay down, calling him a bug. Without hesitation, he grabbed the victim by the collar, demonstrating dominance and a serious threat. The man lifted the victim's body with one hand and coldly threatened, emphasizing that the victim was already dying but still dared to speak. The situation conveyed absolute power and imminent danger. With a crazed look and a cruel smile, Saken asserted that the one who was caught and killed was the real bug, signaling his merciless killing intent. The victim's body was hit so hard that it was thrown and fell helplessly in the distance, leaving a splash of blood and emphasizing the brutal end of the cruelty. A boy named Ray could only call his mother's name, helplessly. He started to come out of hiding, then hugged his lifeless mother tightly. Rei was completely helpless when his mother was cruelly murdered. With full anger, he will definitely take revenge for all the actions he has done to his mother. It turns out the enemy knows there are still those hiding there. There was a pill, and he ate it. Then the enemy approached with a threatening tone. Then the enemy quickly took out his claws to attack Rei. But an unexpected incident occurred. The boy who was previously helpless now has terrifying powers, so he can defeat his enemies. Rei, full of anger, continued to attack the enemy fiercely. But the enemy still did not give up. He also counterattacked. A clash of attacks ensued between Rei and fellow subjects. But the enemy looked stronger. He can regenerate his lost arm. His arm came back, and he shouted that he was still the strongest subject at the moment. Then the enemy attacked him. Rei was seen being stabbed by the enemy's attack when he tried to attack. The enemy looked confident when his attack successfully hit Rei. But he was strong, managed to destroy the enemy's attack with one powerful claw. The enemy was shocked by how strong Rei was, who was a new subject. After breaking the enemy's attack, he immediately performed a powerful two-legged kick. The enemy looked helpless and terrified. Rei's two-legged kick attack managed to destroy the enemy in an instant. It looks like the enemy is already lifeless due to Rei's powerful attack. But there he still holds a grudge over his mother's death. He cannot forgive the enemy's actions. In a rage, he punched the dead enemy again. After he was satisfied with hitting, he saw the enemy in front of him. But it seems like his strength is not stable yet. He looks like he is coughing up blood. According to Saken, it seems there is a successful subject in this place. But when he saw Saken, Rei was very angry, and he jumped to attack. With his power, Saken managed to counterattack, causing Rei to be thrown far away. The attack was truly devastating, a straight strike of incredible energy. With just one finger, Saken managed to unleash that power, proving that he was truly strong. Rei looked helpless after receiving the devastating attack. Saken shared that even though the subject changed, Rei was very weak, so he left it. He looks unconscious after his fight with a strong enemy. But it looks like someone is approaching. A woman wearing glasses approached him. It seemed she had just seen his fight. Then he immediately took Rei somewhere. Don't know what that person will do to a kid, and don't know where they will take him. Then a few years later, it turned into a ruined place. An older sister is trying to run with her younger brother, as if being chased by something. They had to get to town immediately, so they could seek protection quickly. But because her little brother was tired and thirsty, he fell and couldn't continue the journey. The older sister kept urging her younger brother to keep going, but it seemed to be in vain. Sure enough, the evil subjects who were roaming around managed to approach them. It seems like he's going to do something bad to them. The subject appears to be strong, and threatens to do something bad to them soon. The older sister was seen crying in fear and asking them for forgiveness. It appears the subject offered them to eat a pill to be forgiven. The subject who came from the mafia immediately forced him to take the pill. The older sister screamed loudly because her younger brother was forced to eat pills. But suddenly a surprise attack came, with one kick to the evil subject. The subordinates did not know what happened to him because it was too fast. They also asked for the identity of the attacker. A mysterious red-haired man with complete weapons, he claims to work to hunt down the mafia on the loose. He recognized the hunter emblem of the militia on his opponent. The man from the hunter then threatened to let him live because his time was up. But the fight continued. His opponent immediately swung a quick attack with full power. The opponent's attack almost hit him. At the same time he dodged and caught the opponent's spear. Then forcefully threw the spear back at the enemy. But the enemy managed to dodge the pipe spear. Suddenly an attack immediately approached him. The red-haired man launched a powerful counterattack, knocking his opponent backwards and causing him to lose his balance. When he managed to defeat one enemy, the other enemies also attacked. But he managed to anticipate the surprise attack and counterattacked. A powerful punch made with the right hand successfully hit the enemy. The enemy was immediately defeated instantly. The fight ended, and they were both safe from danger. The hunter offered them protection while they went to the militia base. Finally, in the safe zone of the military base, they get protection. Someone asked about the young man's condition. It turns out that this young man's name is Ray, a boy who had a dark past. This old man admitted that he had considered Ray like his son, so he had to be more careful. For him, dark events in the past made him endure conditions like this. He heard that the old man had a solution for the test subject victims. But now for the time being Ray is asked to maintain this condition for a little longer, because his strength is needed. But now Ray is asked to find a woman. The woman Ray is looking for can use fire. For now he will be asked to find a woman who can use fire, that is what can save him in the future. If Ray's power and the fire-wielding woman work together, they can save the world from its current crisis. Finally he prepared to look for the woman. It seemed the little girl knew that he was going to look for a woman. At that time they were cold, but she came and gave them warmth. They almost died, but they were still alive in the morning at the campfire. It felt very warm at that time, and their lives were saved from the cold. The little girl was also sure that the fire-wielding woman was still near this area. He immediately went to look for it, following the little girl's instructions. He had to hurry, because he didn't have any more time. But suddenly he was startled by a loud sound to catch him. A group of people wearing masks like buffaloes were seen chasing Ray. The group was called Pareidolia. Ray immediately cursed because he didn't have much time. It seems the effects of monsterization are starting to show painful symptoms. But when he wanted to get out, one of them managed to find him. This is a bad time in its current condition. But suddenly, a person in a hoodie came and beat that person. Ray was shocked by who the mysterious person actually was. But he began to realize that this smell was the sign he was looking for. And it turned out to be true. That person was the fire-using woman, whom Ray was currently looking for. She knew that Ray could get here by following the smell. But the woman he was looking for was not her, because this smell occurred as long as she was with that woman. And Ray was asked to follow her to the woman who used the fire. They are now in the Pareidolia border area zone. He had to go to this area to avoid the Pareidolia mob, because security here was weak. But this journey was too long. He wanted to quickly meet the fire-using woman. But suddenly danger came to them. There was a direct attack aimed at them, no one knew from whom. It turned out that the attack came from the group. They were targeting the woman who used fire. But they also attacked Ray. It surprised him. But he did not remain silent and act. He threw one enemy, while another enemy immediately attacked. The enemy's attack failed, and he managed to launch a leg attack. A powerful stomp attack, sending his opponent flying far away. But this situation made him confused and felt strange. Suddenly, a sudden attack from a strong enemy managed to hit Ray hard. This caused it to bounce backwards until it hit the cargo iron. He knew that his enemy this time was a giant subject, marking the real danger that had arrived. The subject of the activity dropped the cargo box, but Ray managed to avoid it. And now the situation is very critical. The current situation is urgent. With great force the giant subject unleashed a powerful attack towards Ray. But he immediately avoided it and carried out a fighting strategy using ropes. Until he managed to reach the rear of the enemy. With a powerful attack, Ray threw a hard punch at the giant subject's face. They both fell into the water, and the enemy caught him. They both fell into the water at the same time. But there it appears that this woman remains silent and calm without taking any action. This enemy should not chase her because it would be in vain. Ray is seen successfully getting out of the water and winning the duel with the giant subject. The enemy should know the info that the giant subject can't swim. It seemed the enemy didn't care and immediately launched an attack on Ray. The girl quickly took action using her hands to finish off the enemy. She looks strong because he can defeat his enemies with one move. Finally, the fight ended with their victory. He asked one more time about the whereabouts of the fire-wielding woman, because this time he almost died. Currently, the woman he is looking for has been captured by the Shrine of Fire. Ray is tasked with saving her. For him it was crazy, because the group was teeming with Pareidolia and human subjects. But for her, he had no choice and had to face them. Her current friend is a woman using fire, who Ray is currently looking for. She is captured now, and they have to save her. The search for the woman using fire was carried out. Now they are in the train tunnel. The fire temple is in a sinkhole that appeared after a major earthquake, so no one knows exactly how to get there. Fortunately, refugees like him knew the underground routes and could get in and out through them. They discuss Yumi and question whether the fire worshippers will really kill the fire goddess, while Yumi chooses to hide her identity even if it means sacrificing her life. They realize that Yumi will not reveal her true identity even if she is sacrificed, so they must immediately save her before it is too late. He asked why he would go so far to help Yumi, then explained that they had met Yumi while searching for medicine in a dangerous area. The girl who was also eliminated helped her a lot, even willing to share half of the remaining food she had. Sharing food was a rare thing among the outcasts, so Yumi's kindness was extraordinary and unforgettable. Sharing food and risking one's life for others is a rare thing, and it reminds Rei of his childhood when he was running from the mafia with people he considered family. While escaping, she fell into a deep hole and was left behind by the fleeing people, screaming for help without anyone turning around, but luckily the mafia didn't find him even though he was badly injured while continuing to try to climb out. After being badly injured and nearly giving up while climbing out of the hole, she managed to survive and made 2 important vows to herself. Stood in the cave and established his principle: if anyone asked for help directly, she would save them without hesitation. Their goals are nearly the same, marking the beginning of an important interaction between them. Rei asks about the second rule, indicating that there is another principle that will determine their next actions. She refused to explain the second rule in a cold tone, then immediately climbed the cliff. The girl warned him to quickly grab him hand because the old ladder they were climbing could break at any moment. He tried to cross the cliff with a walking stick, but his footing gave out. He slammed hard against the rock wall and fell as the support beams collapsed. He nearly fell, but managed to catch himself by grabbing the edge of the rock. He panicked and struggled to keep from falling, calling for help. The girl reached out to help, but Rei tried to calm himself by crawling, writhing, and trying to climb up the cliff. The girl was offended and thought her outstretched hand was being rejected, but he denied it, explaining that he had not meant to belittle her. After successfully ascending, Rei felt his heart beating too fast as a side effect, and this condition could drain his body. He realized the situation was getting more dangerous and was trembling with fear that things would get worse. On the way to the cave, the girl teases Rei by asking if he has never held hands with a girl, making him nervous and telling her to be careful. She curious if his powers increased when consumed, but he responded with despair, feeling that power was meaningless if he was going to die anyway. Suddenly the girl reached out her hand towards him, making the young man panic and think she was going to harm him. Seeing his overreaction, the girl immediately apologized and said she only wanted to know his limits, not hurt him. Rei tries to pull out the gun which keeps getting stuck, complaining that it doesn't even work, making the situation even more difficult. She questioned Rei's reason for carrying a broken weapon, then he explained that the weapon was just a souvenir from his parents. He revealed that he had lost his childhood memories, and the professor who saved him said the gun was an inheritance from his parents, so he couldn't bear to throw it away. Suddenly a suspicious sound was heard which made the girl alert and immediately stopped it. They arrived at a large entrance into a glowing abyss, but the girl warned that she did not know what dangers awaited inside. After hitting a dead end, he was frustrated because he didn't know how to find the Lady of Fire, but she calmed him down and said that there was still a way to find her. Asked how, then realized the plan meant he would have to face all the enemies alone, and he was doubtful about it. She rejected the plan to fight, ordering silence. She explained that the fanatics only performed rituals in one place and preferred many offerings, giving a clear hint to lure them in. She prepares to execute the plan, while Rei remains confused. Suddenly, he is pushed out of the way, signaling the bait plan is in motion. Fell into an open area and immediately attracted the attention of armed fanatics, while his partner remained hidden, indicating the bait was successful and the enemy was starting to approach. It looks like she's hiding, and tells Rei to keep quiet and not tell anyone where she is.